Welcome to Cooking with Bae. I'm your host, Lindsay, also known as Animal Based Bae, and maybe some of you guys might know my mom, Doreen.
Hello.
We are cooking a triple meat fiesta for Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Yes, we're kind of
That's
celebrating
delicious.
a little bit early, but what we have here is tongue. We have beef short ribs. We have osso bucco and a little surprise too in there that makes this taco super special and trumps all the tacos out there. Anyways, listen up because we got a recipe coming at you.
That'll melt in your mouth.
Yes. Here is what you'll need. You'll need osso bucco. And so I have about 2 pounds of osso bucco, and I got these from Shirttail Creek Farm, which is one of my favorite farms in Austin, Texas. It's really hard to find osso bucco, and they're very reliable when it comes to those different cuts. And then we also have short ribs. This was one that you definitely, you love those.
Yeah, I
and
do.
she was like, can we put short ribs in those?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Lots
That
of
made the
flavor.
cut. Lots of flavor indeed. Love it. And both of these have bones in too, which also offers
Flavor.
a lot of flavor. And then this very unique one is tongue. So my mom's never tried tongue before, and
But
so
I'm
that
looking
was
forward to it.
something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw this too as well, and I was like, yes, tongue is amazing. This is really exciting, and this is from Oak Pastures, another one of those farms that I absolutely love that has these cuts available that are nose to tail nourishment. And so that's kind of what you're getting here in this full taco fiesta.
I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's going to be
So,
interesting.
Exactly. So those are the 3 meats. Then essentially what you need to support the cooking process of these 3 meats is going to be tallow or any sort of cooking fat, right? You can use butter, ghee. I mean, what else do you use kind of when you're slow cooking these? Butter, ghee, that's it kind of, right?
Just tallow, ghee.
Yeah.
And depending on how fatty the meat is, you don't want to use too much anyway because
Right.
you want to get the sear.
Sure, even bone marrow.
Yeah.
Actually, bone marrow is a good one too. So, very much so too. You can depend. It depends on the fatty, how much fat in the meat really. So, and then also salt. This is by Redmonds sea salt. So that is for sure the seasoning of choice, as well as fond bone broth. Seriously, thank you guys so much for making it so easy in my kitchen, because I typically make my own broth, but sometimes, when you're traveling, you're at, your mom's house in Florida and you can't bring all those jars with you. I got this shipped here.
Shelf stable too.
Yes.
Which is what I love.
Oh, I
haven't
know.
seen that yet.
Shelf stable. This is
Yeah.
like, it's pressurized, so you guys can put it in your shelves and,
So you use it.
yeah, take it out as needed. So, of course, we need it here to make some amazing tacos. Okay, so then I also added just optional ingredients around. So that's the focus, and that's all you'll need to make this triple meat taco. Okay, basically the inside of it, okay? Then the options that I've included, or we included, we went shopping the other day. We're like, oh, maybe we want a little bit of this, a little bit of this, but we really want to make this the star of the show. So plantains probably on the side. And then we have a mango, because I kind of want to, once again, make sure we get the flavor of this, and then chop up and dice up some mango here on top. We can garnish it, of course, with avocado, of course, some lemon, some citrusy flavor, as well as some cheese. And this is aged cheddar cheese. And then I will also use that in making my tortillas, which is 2 ingredients, aged cheese and an egg. So that's what we have for you today. Let's start cooking. You'll need a pot, and we're gonna fill this with water for the tongue. And then you'll also need, while she's doing that, a Dutch oven. So this is for the osso bucco and the ribs, the short ribs that we're gonna put in here with the fat, whether it's tallow or butter. So this one's for the ribs, so you'll need a Dutch oven, or I use like a cast iron or something, maybe even a slow cooker. Okay, we got our tongue. We're gonna put it now in this pot. We filled it with water, so we put it in the top, and then let's go ahead and start. And I guess we put it on high right here, so then it'll start to boil. We'll show you that process, and that's essentially it. Once it starts boiling, then we will turn it to a simmer. And tongue update. Put it on a low boil, and this will sit here for 4 hours. And that's essentially it. Then your tongue will be done, and then we'll talk to you about how to prepare it after. We're actually going to do two things. We're going to add a little bit of tallow here. That's what my mom's doing in here, because this is definitely has a higher smoke point. The tallow does here. And then we're actually going to add a little bit more of, or a little bit of butter, because that gives you a little bit of that flavor. Yes. Exactly.
And it won't burn as quickly, so because you have the tallow in there.
There we go.
Put it on medium-high to start the melt.
Okay.
Right before the sear.
Got it. Okay. Right before the sear, because we are searing ribs and osso bucco. There we go. Okay, while this is searing, we're going to go ahead and put this on 275 so that it can slow cook for a few hours, and it's really amazing flavor. All right, let's check out this sear. Couple of minutes. Oh yeah, that flavor. Great. Cool. Amazing.
Look at that.
All right, let's go for it on the third side now. Okay,
Look at that.
it starts to go a little bit quicker, obviously, because it's hotter, so the amount of time that you sear on one side will be a little bit different than the second side, third, and fourth side. Going to go for all 4 sears. Okay, this tongue is starting to boil now too, so we'll turn down the heat to about midway, and then all right, so we're going to take off the impurities from the tongue boil here. Let's go.
Oh, that's a piece of the tongue.
A piece of the tongue.
Yeah, that's not impurity, that's a piece of the tongue.
Okay.
Okay. And then we put the top on.
And then we'll just cover it. Yep.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and put the top on here. Where are we at? Let's do it.
And we have a little boil. Oh, wrong top.
Oh, wrong
Sorry.
top. Getting a new one. It's all right. That's what we're here for. Choxie's here for moral support. Choxie, what do you think? Yay. Boop. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to deglaze and actually use a little bit of lemon. Squeeze it in here. Okay. Take a wooden spoon and get that stuff off there. I'm going to grab a little mitt so that this is where your flavor's at. The beef bone broth, that is what I will use, and I will fill it till it's almost about 3/4 of the way up the meat. So I'll lay this a little bit more flat so that we're not using too much broth. Here we are. Okay. Then we'll fill this up. There we go. Cool. So pretty much you're using a whole jar. I actually might even go grab another little bit. I used one 24-ounce fluid ounce bone broth, beef bone broth. So now I'm going to add a little bit more actually. This might be half more of this beef bone broth. So there we go. Cool. Then I'm just going to wait for that to simmer a little bit. A quick recap is I poured the bone broth in here. I made sure it came to a boil. Then I'm actually going to turn this off. So this is the ribs and this is the osso bucco. I'm going to close this, but first I'm actually going to flip it real quick. So the bones are immersed in there to get a little bit more flavor going so that when it sits for about 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, you get all the flavor you can get from the bones. Now we'll cover it. So transfer the Dutch oven into the oven. Dutch oven into the oven. And that will stay in there for about 4 to 6 hours on 275. And sometimes I like to come in, I like to check it every 2 hours just to check the level of the broth because I want the meat fully immersed in the broth so that way it can help tenderize your meat. The 2-hour mark. Come on, let's check it out. See what's going on in here. Well, it looks like it is coming along great. So what I want to do is just kind of poke at it to see if it's done. And so the meat is super tender and it's almost falling off the bone. But what I like to do is turn this so that it gets this side nicely and evenly, because look, these are pretty much falling off the bone, but you can stick that in there and get some flavor. Placing the top back on and then putting it back in the oven for another 2 hours. Okay, so let's take a look at our tongue. It's actually been about 2.5 hours, so you don't necessarily need the 4 hours. How you know the tongue is done is by just kind of putting the knife into the thicker portion of the tongue, and if it slides right in, great, it's done. I mean, as you can see, I made some kind of marks, but yeah, if it slides in and out, it's done, so it's ready. Mom has never prepped a beef tongue before, so we're going to walk you through the steps. We already showed you what it was like when it was done. 2.5 hours, stick a knife through, great. So now we're going to go ahead and take it out of the broth. By the way, save the tongue broth. I have something for that on my YouTube where I utilize it in a heart stew. You can use it for other cuts of stew. And
I definitely want to do that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's get the tongue out. And actually, if you hadn't noticed, what once started out as one tongue, we have two because...
Here, I'll just hang on to this one.
Go ahead and put the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
White Oak Pastures delivered two.
Oh my God.
Instead of one, we thought we were getting one, but we get a twofer. Okay.
Okay. Oh God, that broth looks amazing, Lynn.
We're actually going to let this cool because the next step is that we'll be peeling the skin off, and it's just too hot to peel. So, yep, we'll have to let it wait.
Okay.
Just kidding. Okay, tongue is cooled enough and ready to peel. So
you first.
Want to peel one, and I'll peel the other.
Yeah, let me see how you do first.
Okay. Well, sometimes you get like a slit somewhere, and essentially.
Find a spot to start.
Find a spot to start.
I did.
It's a little slippery, actually. Hey, see? You call it beginner's luck.
Okay. All right. So it's just the outside, right?
Just the outside, yeah. There's this layer of skin. I'm actually doing a terrible job at it.
I'm not doing that bad.
Okay, there we go.
And I wouldn't admit it if I was.
See, you just peel this layer off of the skin. Okay. Okay, there we go. Nice work. Peeling the skin
that comes off really easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Cool. Oh my gosh, that's gross. Sorry.
Is that gross?
No, I bet it's going to be good. It's not hard.
So now, then you just take a fork and you just kind of shred it like so. And then typically I'll get in there with my hands too as well and shred too. But that's how you first start to do it, like so.
This breaks up the initial part, I think.
Yeah. Okay, now time to cut the beef tongue. There's two ways to do it. We can slice it, which I love to do, and you can kind of like sear the tongue like that. Maybe cut it up into cubes if you're putting it in tacos. But for this specific recipe, I'm going to shred it because we're shredding the beef ribs and we're shredding the osso bucco. It's like ropa vieja.
Yes.
Con la tongue, lengua.
Yes, it's shredding just like that, but it's more tender. It's definitely more tender.
Yeah, so you take kind of the tongue and then you use your hands and shred it, and then you can chop it up into little, smaller pieces too. Yeah,
Look
easy
at that.
shred.
Oh, nice.
And then you could chop it up into smaller pieces too if like the longer pieces are, like if you have little ones or something like that, kind of chop it, or just, you like that sort of texture in your mouth. So cool. So we're just chopping it, just giving it a little bit of an extra chomp so that we have smaller shredded pieces.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what we are doing now is we are adding our tongue to a skillet so that we crisp them up a little bit because I really love them crispy. Okay, so it has been about 2 more hours. So now we have a total of 4 hours. Here's the big reveal. Woo! This is your beef short ribs and your osso bucco, which is absolutely ready to pull off the bone. All right, taking some of these. Whoops!
It's
fall
really
off the
falling off the bone. Oh
bone.
my gosh.
I'm gonna put it on the cutting board so that we can shred it where it's similar to what
It-
we've got here for
Look,
the tongue.
it's already fallen off. Look at that.
Oh wow. Here we get the bonus. Well, the bone marrow fell out and it's right there. So now we not only get ribs and osso bucco, but we get the bone marrow of the osso bucco and tongue. So that's kind of like a 4-meat fiesta party. I mean, the bone marrow is the fat, but heck yeah. Talk about flavor. Right, now we are chopping the beef short ribs and the osso bucco, getting it into that nice bite-sized shredded deliciousness. All right, here we are. All 3 meats have been chopped and shredded. What are we doing now, Doreen?
We are taking the tongue first. And we'll start layering because we crisped this a little bit with a little butter in the skillet.
Yes.
So let's
Great.
add that first.
Okay, next.
Next, we'll take the osso bucco. Is that how I pronounce
That
it?
is how you
Okay.
pronounce it. Good job.
With the bone marrow. Look how beautiful
the extra
that
goodies
is.
that I wasn't even expecting. But check it
And
out.
the beef short ribs.
Ooh.
And we're just gonna put all of this beautiful meat in there.
All right, we are mixing up the triple meat fiesta.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
This looks so gorgeous.
Yummy. And that's it. Now we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
I know. So very excited to try this triple meat taco fiesta, whatever you want to call it.
Gorgeous.
Check out. I know exactly. Check out what we did. We made homemade taco shells, which are essentially cheese and eggs. You can see in the different reels that I have it on my YouTube channel, but pick whatever taco shell you want. The main, just the spotlight of the show was the triple meat filling for these tacos. And this is your tongue, your osso bucco, your short beef ribs, and a little extra bone marrow. Isn't that right?
It melts in your mouth. I
It
think.
does. And then I made this as an extra side. This is just kind of like mashed plantains. I absolutely adore these. And so these are just ideas for you guys to have. And I also have some avocado slices, some orange that you can squeeze on there, some lemon, salt, some cheese, and a little bit of mango toppers. So are you ready to eat?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god.